How's it going, Blazers? Working to build a community to allow for discussion of providing specifications you can relate to so you can have an educated decision on your purchases. Again, just going to do a random live stream. So we'll see if anybody joins on to this one, but then had a very slight notification as far as that coming out. But I'm going to do a quick giveaway. We do have some other ones that are going to come out later on. I guess I very much appreciate the folks that have joined on. And I know it's not all about the giveaways, but I do like to give back to that. So one person on, awesome. So I do like to give back as well for things, but we'll have something that's a little bit better for a giveaway, but we'll kind of see how that goes. How's it going? I love knives. Nice to have you on. Angie, I've seen you a lot on Instagram, Angie, but you haven't really talked much. So thanks for joining. So very much for this one, we're going to do a quick announcement for things, for giveaway, as well as it's going to be really early on in the year, but I did get this one in as well. This one is the Civivi. This one is the, now I think of Stat Gear every time I think about it, but it's Stat Era. So this one was actually one that was named by Zelric for this one, for the Stat Era Civivi. So this one is actually a really cool knife. And this one I saw at Blade Show West, and then I wasn't able to pick it up. So it was one that I kind of was waiting for, and I was hoping that it didn't kind of have a better memory than it actually is. But it is a D2 blade for this one. So thanks again for joining in. But this one is going to be probably currently very early in the year, but this is going to be my budget knife of the year, under $75. So this is going to be my throw into the hat on that one. Titanium pocket clip on it. I did order a quick stud because I'm going to give that a try, see what that looks like. It's a bronze one, and it's going to be on right at the edge here. So we'll see how that goes. But the Civivi on this one, the action's just awesome on it. And then even the detent ball is right there, so it releases, and then you can just close it down. So this one, if you don't have a Civivi, get a Civivi. If you have a Civivi and you'd like to get more, the Stat Era is one that I would recommend full-heartedly as far as one to pick up. A lot of places have it. I got mine from White Mountain Knives because they do have that 10% off. I think LTK and also Slicey Dicey has those going for them. But going through that one, awesome knife for that. If you have any questions about it, let me know. There's not a lot of videos out on it right now. I think I saw one from EDC. What was it? It's a newer guy. Darn, I forgot his name. But an EDC one, he did have a video out to kind of be the first video to actually show it. So that's going to be a really good thing for that. But also, so giveaway side, just leave a comment down below as far as not on the live side, but once the video is complete and everything else, leave a comment, and then I'll do a giveaway for these two knives. This is going to be the Yobo tool. So Yobo is your outdoor best option, is what that actually means as far as that goes. So they are going to have a few different things come about. Now hopefully I can see some type of improvements as well as far as their brand, but this one's going to be the original one. This one actually was their start on Kickstarter. So this is going to be the Yobo Tool Aurora. So this one is going to be one here. So it goes for about, I think, $58 or $60 for it. So check that one out. So there's going to be one of the giveaways. So just leave a comment down below for that one if you are interested in this blade. It does run on, it's a D2, running on washers. Excellent flipping action for it. But that's going to be one of them there as far as that knife here. So that's going to be one giveaway. We're also going to have the Tangram. So this one is by far one of the best boxes that you're going to get for a knife. I think this one just really sticks out as far as something that's really great. And this is one here. So not a super fancy one, but this is kind of a small knife. So there's, I think, the Amarillo. It's kind of like, I don't think of like Texas or something for it, but Brand new. Both of these are basically brand new in box. This one did get a Rockwell testing, so it does have a little divot, very not really noticeable for it at all, but that's going to be one there. But if you guys have any questions or anything else, leave it in the comments. I can kind of see it scrolling up the screen right here if anybody adds anything to it. But those are the two knives. I'll actually bring out the other one too, just so you can see it. And also, if you have any questions about anything else on the table, we can go through those as well. But that's going to be the two. So if you're interested, leave a comment down below. We've got a few people on right now, but these are going to be the two for giveaway. Those two knives there. So some of the other things going on, so blind knife review, that's starting out. This is on the second round. So if you haven't seen the first blind review, go through those. Some great channels helped out on that one. We had 7 people on the first one. We have 9 people on the second one. So that's going to be the ones that we have. Yeah, so but could be free to you. So for Z Ripley, so check that out. So just leave a comment on the video, and then those could be yours. Not that one. I'm keeping that one. But the others could be yours. So that's going to be the blind review. I was fairly disappointed at it, so I guess a little bit of it before the video comes out. I set up, I had everything going, I had my lavalier mic, and then I forgot to plug it in. So that's something that I'm fairly disappointed in. So hopefully the audio is not too horrible for it. Audio on the first one was a lot better. Audio on the second one's not going to be that great because I'm talking behind a poster board. And then packaging, somebody said about packaging, very nice packaging for Tangram. It stands out. I mean, it's a budget brand, but the packaging just is really cool. I haven't actually made the sword for it too. You can actually make a sword on this too. You can pop that out. It has little instructions for how to actually make that. And so it's a pretty nice setup for it. And then, so blind knife review. This one is also one that got sponsored. So we do have the first one that actually had the real steel G5 Metamorph. It was actually my knife. So I just basically had one of their viewers pick out a knife. I just paid him for it. I didn't know what it was. And then so that finally came back to me. So I do have my G5 Metamorph, which is the best front flipper that I've experienced. So I don't have a boost blade smoke or anything like that. But that one is by far just amazing as far as the action goes for it. Far, just hundreds of % better than the one from Rike. Rake. I think it's Rike. Either one. It's the R-U-I-K-E, the one that doesn't actually look like the name that they're saying it is. Rake. Either way. Not the expensive one, the budget brand. So that's the one that actually just was not a good knife. It was super chunky. I believe it's made by San Renmu for that brand. But that's going to be that one there. So blunt knife review. Also a response to the survey question. What's up, Big Red? So these are the 2 knives going to be given away. So for comment side, we have the Yobo tool, and then we also have the other one. What's up, Sean? Leave any comments, any questions, let me know. But we do have those 2 that's going out. And then also for the people that just came on, Civivi, Stat Era, amazing. You need to get this knife if you do not already. D2 blade steel, awesome. So early on, knife of the year for me. So that's going to be kind of a hard thing with that. Exclusive G5? I guess what is it going to look like? What's going to be exclusive about it? What's going to be kind of interesting for Indiana knives? That would be awesome, though. Well, thanks very much for that. That would be really cool. Nice. G5, amazing. I like it. Yeah, so, yeah, the silent UI for Reich, I don't know. I just don't know. I mean, it's just a translation thing, I guess. Yeah, I don't know. But that's going to be a kind of interesting thing for that. So Banter 24/7, if you haven't checked him out too, Big Red EDC that was on the previous one, check him out as well. Up and coming guys, I mean, as far as good information for it, good conversation, and then it's really pretty cool. So a lot of these folks, I mean, the knife community is pretty well, is a good community. So we actually have conversations. There's not really, it's not like a leave me alone, I'm trying to beat you type of thing. So it is really a thing that we try and work with each other and try and figure things out, because it is a community. We're trying to learn about things and then trying to get going. So yeah, very much awesome. So that's some of the things here. Also, so for survey question, so I did put a survey question out there as far as the community side, as far as if it would improve videos if you were to see my mug on video. So that's one thing that I've been kind of going back and forth on. Some people already do that. Some people already have it kind of as a regular thing as far as their videos go, but I don't. I guess when I first started, it was kind of a thing of I guess security things, kind of like really trying to just more privacy type of stuff with me. But as I get into it, it's becoming a little bit more easy to do, because as I find within the community, there's a little bit more things out there. CV out there now, very similar to the one used, Todd Begg's knife. And which one is that for that CVV for Jerry? But that's one thing that I'm kind of playing around with. So I think in the survey there was probably about 20 somewhat percent said that it'll actually make the video better. I have to go back and get the actual number for that, but that was the number that said, yeah, it would actually be good to make the video better that way. And I kind of go off of like, I think a long time video ago, a 555 gear, I guess when he was starting out, he was working with somebody and he said, yeah, it would actually improve your videos if you're actually on camera for some of it, where you're just talking about different things. And then of course, when you're going to talk about the product or anything else, then you show the product as far as that goes. So I might go along that route. I just don't, I don't know how that format's going to work yet. So as we go in the community, there's going to be things that are a little bit different, things that we learn about. So no, that's going to be how things operate with that. Yeah, you definitely you don't show your face, but you have on Facebook side, that's where people can see you're already there. Yeah, tattoos, very easy to recognize for that big red. And then for the CVV, it's called Beg. I haven't seen that one. But I think it would come down to whether you like to be a personality beyond. Yeah, I mean, I guess that is the case. I mean, I don't think it's ever going to get to the point where I'm going to be like recognized on the street and go, hey, Blade Banter. I mean, it might come to that point eventually, but it's just kind of an interesting thing. Yeah, this one. Stat Era. Amazing. But this one is actually, you said that it's a Todd Begg design, or similar to a Todd Begg? I didn't know about that. Unless you're doing off-topic things, yeah. Yeah, I mean, that's where it's just kind of hard to decide for Ripley. To try to see, it seemed like you could work it into a video format where it wouldn't take away from what you're showing, because a lot of times, and then that's where the poll was too. I think like 50% was like NA, like I put in one of the options of NA, I'm only here for the knives. So basically about 50 somewhat percent said that. And then after that, there was another 20 something percent, which said basically no. And then another 20 something percent that said, yeah, it'll make it better. So that would be kind of an interesting thing to see. Yeah, I mean, that's kind of how it goes. Bag, I meant. I don't know. Sorry, Jerry, I don't know what you're referring to, but this one's awesome. I like that one a lot. But that was the survey side of things, but just did a video for the blind knife review. That one's going to be going around as well, so that's going to be pretty awesome. We do have quite a few other things coming about. For the pass around group, there's a lot of brands that have really stepped into the game with it, so appreciate those folks. Some of the ones that are coming on, we even got a mass drop, so for the folks that are involved in in the Pass Around group, as well as people that like mass drop knives. We do have a shipment coming from them that's going to be probably about 6 different knives that we're going to be able to show off, and these are going to be the ones that are ready for sale. So we might have some that are in the kind of the pre-order stage, but that's going to be one that's going to be not as common. That's going to be probably some of the bigger channels, because then they want to get like eyes on things and they want to be able to really check out and push people to the sites. So we're going to have more so the ones that are for sale. You can watch our videos, and then if you like it, then you can go buy it from a Mass Drop. So that's going to be something that's going to be pretty interesting on that. And then we have quite a few other brands too that have come on, some that are in the works. But these folks, I mean, it's kind of a win-win type of thing. We get to see the knives. So yeah, now Big Red, I mean, thanks for joining the group as well for that. So that's going to be, it helps out quite a bit to actually get people in the group, get that interaction, get different takes on things as well. Wait, well, appreciate it, Jerry. And then are you referring to more the main video side? And so the actual reviews, is that what you like the best, or actually you feel is pretty classy as far as how it's done? Because that's going to be, I like the feedback on it, and sometimes you don't really get that too much, and that's one thing that the live streams do help out with, because it's more of a conversation. Even though you guys are typing and I'm talking, it actually is something that's really very good to be able to kind of have that conversation with folks that are watching the channel, actually being part of the community. And then it's just still amazing as far as the growth that things have happened. I mean, within not even a year time frame, over that 1,000. So I think the last time I checked was 1,150 or 147. So that's something that is very much appreciated. So I don't want to take away anything from the people that are actually taking the time to actually watch videos, be a part of the community, and then hopefully they're getting things from the information I'm providing. Because I'm always trying to grow and always trying to change with what I feel is going to be beneficial to you folks. And then so hopefully that works out pretty well. Yeah, live streams do work pretty well as far as the feedback side of things, being able to have a conversation, and then really just get information out there, because as much as you folks hopefully enjoy the content, it is work too. So there's the kind of post-production, so you record post-production. Some folks don't have too much post-production, so that's where it's still not easy. I mean, you still got to go do the video, do the information. So thanks, Jerry, for the review side. So appreciate the feedback on it. So added in there as far as the behind the edge thickness, because that wasn't actually part of the information I was giving to folks. And then that's where I want to try and even figure out with that. So if anybody didn't watch the most recent ones, basically what I'm going to be comparing it to for behind the edge thickness is sheets of paper. So basically what I found, just getting regular printer paper, I mean, there might be some deviation to this, but a regular sheet of paper is going to be 0.1 millimeters. So basically you're going to have 1/10 of a millimeter. And then so a lot of the ones that I'm finding are going to be about 0.7. So that's going to be about 7 sheets of paper. So grab 7 sheets of paper out of your printer that you should have probably at home, and then put that together. And that's usually what a behind the edge thickness is on most knives. I mean, other than kind of the open L, it's going to be super, super thin. But you can put that together and actually see what that is. So there's kind of like controversy as far as, well, does that even matter in most situations? And that's going to be something that's going to be different. Important to give. Yeah, I mean, that is important as far as having the distinct area. Right now, I'm using a little mat. If you don't know, as far as like, I guess what that is, the mat that I use is kind of, almost looks carbon fiber-ish, but that is actually just a placemat from Walmart that I picked up. There was one of the videos, you could probably go back on it and then see like a whole bunch of things as far as just random mats. I was like, what background works best for this? and then that was the one that was voted on. I did like 3 or 4 different backgrounds. A lot of other channels I see have kind of the little mat that goes into your drawers as far as a background, and then there's also the ones that actually have the measuring boards. So personally, I don't like the aesthetics of the measuring board for me, but that's something that I think is good in a sense for some setups. Extra things like flipper pull, hand size. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of those things. I mean, that's where I was just trying to figure out as far as, I guess, what translates best to people, because there's a lot of like numbers and specs and everything else that goes out there, but there's it's really like what does that mean to me? Like somebody could say like you want to have this no, this thickness behind the edge because that's the only thing that you can have and that's the best thing in the world. And it's like, well, okay, I mean, like there's not really much to go off on that. So in trying to provide some of those things like the pull test, and then that's where I was just kind of like, when I was starting the channel, I was trying to brainstorm as far as what to do with those type of things, and then how to bring that into incorporate it. Because I was like, okay, well, how do I tell somebody that the flipper tab is like really stiff and it's hard to flip? It's like I could say that, but you don't feel that. It's not like I can go like this really hurts my hand. It's like, well, I have a lot of callus on my hands, so what hurts? Well, I don't have a lot of callus on my hands, but if you have a lot of callus on your hands, then you'd be like, well, really? I mean, come on now. I mean, that's not going to hurt my hand. But if I give you a number as far as, okay, well, this flipper tab has like 5 pounds of pull, and then like, I almost want to bring back the soup cans. Like, it seems like for some reason that really resonated with folks as far as what weight is. So I think with the rake, now I have to go back to it, rake? Oh, either way, the one that doesn't pronounce right. I know the other person went and brought that up, but like it was like 3 soup cans. Like imagine like balancing 3 soup cans on your fingertip, and that's how much weight it takes to actually flip that knife open. I mean, that was like something that it seemed like that was like something that was like, oh, that's really cool. But for that, but it was just like kind of a new little thing there to try and figure out. Sorry, gonna drink some coffee here. Yeah, I mean, the measurement is probably the best thing for it. I do like, I don't know, I haven't played around with it enough, but I like how Advanced Knife Bro does his, because it has very much a visual. He's doing something in the background, and the knives are there, and it is like, it has the measurements as far as, okay, this is how big the handle is, this is what the grip area is, and it's shown there in a very easy to read, easy to look at format. So that's where I think would be a good thing with that. Right now, what I use is basically my tablet, and I've got a measurement application, and then it actually gives me the height of the blade as well as the width, and then also do the millimeters. And I guess that's another thing. I guess for anybody that does metrics, like, do you prefer millimeters or centimeters? Because I'm giving it in centimeters because it seems like some of the sites do it in centimeters, but I don't know if that's what people want. So if anybody loves metric systems and actually works with it most, what resonates with you, centimeters or millimeters? So yes, again, so Ripley, I love that measurement setup. It's very much something that is easy to look at, very much something that's relatable for type of things. But I just really like that. Try not to use multiple backgrounds that contrast the knife. Don't stick to specific ones. So I guess no, for that one, you're saying to change up the background. So like if I have like a really dark knife, don't use a dark background. So kind of have like a lighter background so you can see it a little bit better in response to that question. Okay. So thank you very much for that, Banter 24/7. So that feedback, centimeters, millimeters, yeah, it doesn't really matter for that. So I'll probably stick to centimeters. But that's going to be something that I try and translate pretty well in that. I probably need to do that as far as that in relation to the other response or a statement. I probably need to get a lighter background because right now the background that I'm using is a dark background, so it doesn't really show a very good contrast when it goes from a darker knife. It might show something that's a little bit better for something that's lighter, but I'll probably play around with that. So I might have another little, I guess a question type of thing as far as which background do you like, 1, 2, or 3, and then we'll kind of go from there. So that's something that's pretty good to try and figure out. Yeah, so lighting is important, but I guess for that question specifically for the channel, do you feel that the lighting is okay, or do you feel I need to improve lighting? Because really, I'm not very advanced in my setup, so I'm still using my camera. My camera is I think 2 years ago flagship, so it's a LG V20 is what I'm using for my camera. And then I am sitting at my dining room table with the overhead light that is already there. So that's the lighting that I'm using. This lighting is horrible. So I'm sorry for the live stream, but the reason why I'm doing it here is because my modem is right there. And when I tried to do it in the other room, then I was getting drop signals. I mean, a room difference. It was getting drop signals. Everything was fuzzy. I was getting audio drops. I was getting like pixelation on the screen. Just horrible. So I found that if I move closer to the modem, I'm not hardwired, but I'm using still the Wi-Fi. Seems to work out better for the content for things. So that's something that's fairly important as far as trying to actually show any information. It seems important anyway. But just let me know as far as, I guess, what you feel about the lighting that I have, the background that I do have, and what I'm using, because it is important for some of those things. And then also I did try and on one of Perfection's most recent videos, he was saying that he has some lighting and equipment that he's not using anymore. So I did try and reach out to him, see now if what type of things there are, if there's something that I can pick up from him, because if nobody's seen Perfection, he does a lot of the sharpening. He's going through and like clearing out like all of his drops and like all these stones that he doesn't use anymore. And then he seems to still want to be giving back and still very humble in that sense. So he's not like trying to act like he knows everything, and like it's just a really good channel. So check out Perfection for it. He doesn't need to plug it by any means. I'm sure he has enough of information, and probably folks know about him already, but he does a lot of those things, a lot of knife sharpening. He's doing some things that are bringing in like some knives that are needing repair and then selling them off as well. So that's something that's pretty cool about that. Contact with Cold Steel. Haven't contacted Cold Steel as far as the pass around group. So that might be one to reach out to see what they have. But I'm not too sure what would be out there that would be really really sought after for Cold Steel. Cold Steel has a lot of interesting things, but also a lot of things that are like humongous, not like they're and they're attainable too. I mean, they're fairly inexpensive for what they have. So that's something that's kind of interesting for some of those for Cold Steel. Wait, Cold Steel? I think I'm thinking of Cold Steel, right? That's like, let me see if it's the right one. Yeah, Cold Steel. Oh. Yeah, so I may reach out to Cold Steel because this is one of my favorites as far as the Code 4. It's like super thin. Like, I mean, take a Bic pen. I mean, that's going to hide this as far as the actual thickness of this thing. Still being bright enough to show detail, color accurate. Yeah. And then also I'm using on the phone when I do the recording, I put it into a manual mode. So that's one thing I noticed on some videos when people are lifting things to and from and moving things around, then their camera kind of goes crazy because they're trying to like it's trying to focus on different things. So I set it to a manual mode. So you might notice something might go out of focus a little bit, but for the most part, when I'm moving, it's fixed. So you're not going to see any type of changes. The camera's not going to try and focus on like my hand that's closer to the screen or the knife that's closer to the screen. So that's kind of what I do as far as having that set to a manual mode. And then I kind of played around with some of the exposure levels to try and get that color accuracy and things not blown out. And so it's kind of an interesting thing that cameras have come such a long way, phones have come such a long way as far as like having these little computers in your hand. They're still very expensive if you don't get it in contract or something, but I mean, like some of the iPhones are like $1,000, like the new Samsung is like probably $800, $900. So it's just very crazy that way. But yeah, I got this one for a really good deal. On the actual edge was pretty bad on it, so I did have to fix that. But it's just very nice. One other thing I'm going to do, I am going to crown this. So I'm going to try to crown it, but I'm going to crown this edge. I guess this is a little bit sharp for this area. It still releases well, but it's not as comfortable as I would like it. So I'm going to probably blow this apart and then crown this so it takes off the edging with a Dremel, and then kind of polish that out to improve it for me. So I don't know if anybody else has run across that or feels the same way, but I think that's would make this better if that is crowned. But anything else on the table, I mean, let me know as far as anything else that you guys want to see. I still don't run very expensive knives. Some of the ones for the past round are knives that I wouldn't buy on my own. So that's something that we still try and show. I still try and remain to what I would buy. So like this is bought with my own money. This isn't anything that's provided for the Civivi. But steel. What about steel, Ripley? But this is one I would buy for myself. I did buy it for myself. So that's something that I will always say or put in the video as far as whether it's provided, whether I bought it, and then I still go along with that buy, borrow, or avoid. That's kind of the format that I came up with to try and give some information, because I was still trying to give the data as far as information, but I still have my own opinion on it. There might be something that like you go through the points on it and say, yeah, this is exactly what I'm looking for. And then for me, it's just like, don't buy that. It's horrible, or anything else like that. So I just don't make that sway you if that's something that you like, because everybody has their personal preference on what they like. And then everybody has, there's just so many different knives out there. It's just like, you can't keep up with them. And then that's even the hard part about some of the ones that are considered clones or copies, because like you pick up a knife and from a certain brand and you go, okay, well, this is a nice knife. And then like certain iterations before, and like this other brand has one that's like pretty much the same. If you put it up side by side, then it'll be like the same knife. And then that's where it's kind of difficult with some of that. So you try and stick to some reputable brands out there, and then try and figure out how that goes. Like even some of the ones that are now from Tucson are really nice, and then like some of their prices are good. I think you can get them through eBay, so that's where if you're a little bit patient, then you can get something that's pretty nice from them. There's one that I picked up, I think for like $40 or $50. Oh, open. I'm touching the lock bar. Yeah. Okay, so that's the one here. This one, I don't like Tanto blades, but this I felt everything matched with it. Like I felt that this blade fit this handle really well, and that's where I don't like some of the ones, because I feel that the design isn't something that flows together. That's one thing that, like the Tuya knife, as far as the Envy, I don't think that, at least on the video side, I just put a piece of paper over it and showed like a regular blade, and I thought it just put it together so much better than what they did with that one for the Tuya. But this one I felt like was pretty nice as far as how this looks. So thanks for the feedback on things. really the input. Oh, also, if you ever get this knife, this is a horrible, horrible, horrible pocket clip. Like the portion that meets your pocket on this side and on this side is square. Like, why would you make a square contact point? It doesn't make any sense. So that's the one thing that's really strange about a live stream. For a great night. Thanks, Ripley. Thanks for the input. Have a great night. Let's see, G10 overlay. Yeah. Yeah, I like the handle of the stat era. It's just pretty. And then I like the black and the gold. Like I think it goes really well together. And then once I get my bronze thumb stud, yeah, I'll see how it goes. But that's going to be some of the things coming up with that. So what's up, Sam? But there is, oh, back to that horrible pocket clip. I gotta go grind that or something. Like I gotta take that off, and then I actually have to round the edges because yeah, it's a square contact point. Like why? Like why would you have like a square contact point where it's gonna make contact with your pocket? It doesn't make any sense to me. I'm trying to put that away. Get in there. Ah. Why? But so anybody else that joined that wasn't on in the beginning, these are two knives that are going to be given away. So after the video, just leave a comment, and then I'll pull you and see who will get them. I'll ship it priority mail because I'd like to have it sent and received. I don't want to just send it without any tracking information because I would feel bad if it didn't get there. And I'd rather just have it be there and then have people enjoy it. So that's something there. The lavalier mic is something that seems to have helped out quite a bit for the video. For all the different shows coming up, for the Blade Show or Shot Show, no, Blade Show, for the Atlanta one, that's going to be one I'll probably work towards eventually. So thanks, Jerry. Thanks for the input. I'm glad you're liking the content so far, and then let me know if there's anything else that kind of needs to be added in. Oh. Take care, Banter 24/7. Awesome. Thanks for joining. But that's some of the things that are there. So I'll probably try to get to the Atlanta one. I definitely want to do the Blade Show West again. Then hopefully I can get to the media part of it. So awesome, Jerry. But hopefully I can get to the media side of things again. Because last year, or this last year, I was able to basically be considered media. So that's what kind of helped to have those interviews. So I'll probably do that again for Blade West. That's been able to actually provide some good information, have conversations with people, kind of figure out people that work for the company or even designers. I mean, their designers are very open. That's one thing again about the knife community. People are very open to conversations. They're very approachable. So there hasn't really been anybody that was like so high on the chain or so high up there where they're like, don't ever talk to me, leave me alone type of thing. Like people are really quite open to getting to be able to talk, be able to approach them, say hi, shake their hand, thank them for their work, anything like that. Yeah, I mean, that'd be pretty cool if you get to Atlanta, Big Red. I mean, I hear that it's just like you can't take it in even within those 3 days. So if you had a 3-day pass trying to get through everything else, you're not going to get there. And then that's something that is just, like, it's hard to fathom as far as how big that show would be to be able to not be able to get through everything. Because at least Blade West, you're able to, I mean, it's one hall, so you're able to get through it. It still has a lot of brands, and I didn't really get to see handle everything that I wanted to, so that's something that I'm going to probably change for this next year as far as be able to handle more of the knives more, and then kind of break away a little bit from the interview side, because I was just going on interviews and trying to walk and talk with people. So that was kind of my big push on that, to try and provide folks that couldn't get to Blade Show West with some information from those brands. So that was kind of the biggest drive for that. I had my gimbal that I got in. So the gimbal and then the lavalier mics, I feel was a good addition, because a lot of times you get a lot of shakiness, or you get very poor audio. So thank you to House of Wisdom, because initially I had a shotgun mic, so I was going to use a shotgun mic because it was like, okay, well, that should be able to pick up on the person talking, and it should work well for a conversation. But from his input, he said, well, he had a shotgun mic like one of the first years he went, and then he went to a lavalier mic, which is basically the ones that you clip on your shirt, and then there's a double mic, so you clip on one on the person you're interviewing, and you clip on your shirt, and then you can have that conversation, and you actually pick up the information there and pick up that conversation a lot better. So that's what I used for that. Audio seemed to come out pretty well for it, other than in my in the blind review where I didn't actually plug in my microphone. So I do apologize for anybody that's going to watch that video. We do have 2 knives going around, so it should make the release a lot sooner for the blind knife review. So hopefully you guys were able to see that. I guess give me some feedback on that as well, as far as what you thought about that whole format. It was kind of a long time coming, but it was an interesting way to do things, and I thought it was pretty fun overall. So all the reviewers, so 7 out of 7 reviewers enjoyed themselves. So even if the viewers hated it, it was like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever seen, it was fun for us. So sometimes that's kind of important to be able to do that, to actually be able to enjoy what you're doing, kind of break from the norm, and then to lose a sense is kind of an interesting thing, because yeah, I mean, it is kind of an interesting thing to just lose a sense of sight and still trying to figure out what things are. So that's where it was kind of a fun thing with that. Yeah, the science fair poster board, Sam, is kind of where we ended up with. Some of them were a lot better than mine. I just had my patch on it. This time isn't much better. I have a patch on there, and I printed out some different snapshots of videos, and I put it up there. But the poster board seemed to work the best for it, because it was just a thing because you could blindfold yourself, but there's still the thing of like, oh, magicians blindfold and they can still see it and all that stuff. I'm not going to see through a poster board. So that's going to be the one that was the easiest one for that. Because initially we're thinking about, like, I was thinking about like a photo development bag, like you stick your arms through it and then shoot the camera from the other side. And it just was really, really just not a good thing to do. And so the poster board was the thing that we went on that. So a lot of science fair projects for that thing. And I'll get better on mine. I'll probably figure out something that's a little bit more flashy. But we do have round 3 set up already. So that's going to be done. A new company that's Valtech Tactical Gear. So they're actually going to be sponsoring round 3. So we actually already have that set up. They're going to be setting out a knife, and we're going to be doing that. Yeah, it was, Aaron. It was very much interesting for us as well. Yeah, different people picked up on different things. It was really funny, even with the knife beater, as far as thinking it was a joke. Like, couldn't figure out how to open it for a long time, and like playing around with it and like smelling the knife, and at least pretending to try and figure out the steel and everything like that. But that's something that's pretty interesting. Yeah, the Boba Fett helmet was a way to go. So that's going to be pretty cool. Yeah, Valtech's going to be doing round 3. So we already have that lined up. We have already have the round 2. So Big Red's going to be part of round 2. So hopefully he doesn't cut himself. Have bandages on site if needed. But it's definitely an interesting process. It was actually more unnerving for myself to do round 2. Round 1 was kind of like, we'll give it a shot. Round 2, I had a little bit more anxiety about it going through and actually trying it for some reason. Like, it was just kind of more hype, I guess, for the whole thing. But it was something that was enjoyable, and I'm glad that people are enjoying the process and enjoying kind of that break of the norm, and it was fun, fun for us. So just slight cuts. I think Jack Farmboy had his little cut incident. I think Blue Collar Survival was feeling the blade and was actually feeling the blade instead of the back of the knife. So little things like that. I mean, that come about. I think I left the blade open, different blades open like 3 different times. So I was kind of almost cut myself there. So a lot of paroling things that happened with that. But it was a pretty interesting process, nevertheless. And then hopefully we can get this going. So if it continues to be something that people like, we'll try and get some larger channels on board as well for the blind knife review. And then that was where we'll go and hopefully hit like round 4 and so on to see how it works, because it might get to a point where it's like it meets its end. So if people just don't like it anymore, then we'll just stop and then we'll move on to something else. But it seems like it's something that is very enjoyable for folks. And then hopefully we can get a little bit more people behind it and the viewers to be able to see it, because that's something that's going to be pretty fun. And then I think everybody's probably been on, but giveaway knives, got these 2. Oop. So this one's going to be the one from Yobo Tool. And then also, if anybody is left-handed, Yobo Tool will make you a left-handed knife. I know a lot of people get used to just left-handed pocket clips, but if you email customer service, they will actually get you set up with a left-handed knife where the actual locking mechanism will be on the other side, pocket clip will be on the other side. So that might be something to get used to as well, because there's not a lot of purely left-handed carry knives. But there's the Aurora from them. There's the original one from Kickstarter, and then the one from Tangram, which is the Amarillo. I hear it pronounced different ways, but that's going to be the other one as far as giveaway. And then we might have another one coming about. I didn't really reach out to a lot of companies for the giveaway. I know a lot of people do those for just getting the lots in. But I'm going to probably do something a little bit different for some of the giveaways, as far as just going back and just pulling random names from previous videos and comments. Because I know a lot of it you can kind of get a little bit more views and everything else. You push it to say, I'm going to do giveaway at this amount, so you can kind of get information and get people to be on board with it. But I just kind of want to appreciate the folks that are just already communicating with the channel and already part of the information and part of the channel and actually having that conversation about it. That was kind of my thought pattern behind that. I still don't like SOG. I mean, does anybody like SOG? I know they have the Terminus that just came out. I mean, it's okay. I just think they need a total revamp on everything. This is one that I got from the knife beater. So he sent me a few little knives. It was really just amazing he just said that there's hanging around. He wasn't using them, so he sent it over to me. But this one's like the Vulcan. Oops. This one is a flipper that doesn't flip. So this flipper tab doesn't have enough detent to actually be a flipper. So you do need to have a wrist action for that. And he said he had to do a lot of things to make this actually a functional, well-rounded knife with the arc lock, which is their lock. But same time, nothing's wrong with. Yeah, I mean, I see what you say there, Sam. I mean, that's where I might do it with like maybe a expensive knife. If I do an expensive knife, I might do a flashy one to actually gain a little bit more people to look at it and kind of push the engagement on it. Because in one thing that YouTube offers is analytics, so you can actually see how many people are viewing videos, how long they're viewing videos for, and then also how many people are viewing that are subscribed and not subscribed. So that's something that's kind of interesting with it, because on average, yeah, SOG is overpriced. Yeah, I would agree. But on average, I guess let's put it. You have a few people on, so put in the comments as far as how many minutes do you think that an average person watches. This is a little bit different for different channels, but in talking to other YouTube channels, there's still about average as far as where the minutes are. So put in the description here. So I want to see as far as a guess on how many minutes a normal person watches on average. Granted, there's going to be people that will watch all the way through the end of the video, which is awesome. There's going to be people that will stop in, maybe check in throughout the day, and then see different things. But we'll move on to that now, but we'll come back to that comment or that subject. But put it down, type it in as far as what your guess is for that, as far as how many minutes people watch. But as far as the subscriber to non-subscriber ratio, at least for my channel, I think is about 70% not subscribed. So how to get people from not subscribed to subscribed? It's difficult with that, because then you try and build some type of rapport with folks and you try to be reputable. I think that's something that's important. So I don't know if that comes across with that. But that's something that I try to do with the channel. But to have that type of like gap, I mean, 70% of the people that view videos are not subscribed, 30% are. It's just kind of like, it's great that people are viewing the videos that much, but like, how do you get them to like just press the button? Like, you're not going to get all the videos, but like let me know that like you're watching, and let me know that you like what I'm putting out there. Yeah, so 60% for Big Red. So it's kind of interesting with that. So hopefully you can get a little bit better transition there. But I mean, people, I mean, it's their time, it's your guys' time, but it just like it helps out as far as the channels being able to know that they're going in the right direction, whether you like the content or not. So again, you don't need to press the bell to get the notification, but if you really enjoy content, if you actually were watching somebody regularly, just hit the subscribe button so you can actually let them know that you're actually watching and you like what you're doing. But just going back to the time period for the minutes, so we have 7 to 10 minutes, 10 minutes, 7 minutes. So an average person, at least for my channel again, is going to be about 3 minutes and 50 seconds. So 3 minutes 50, or like nothing over 4 minutes. So and that's an average. So that's where you kind of go back and you go, okay, what happened at 4 minutes? Why did somebody click out of the video? And then you kind of like rack your brain on that a little bit, and then like at some point you just like have to forget it, and you're like, whatever, I'm gonna put out what I'm gonna put out, and I'm gonna just like, I enjoy the content. People seem to enjoy the content, and there's gonna be people that will bounce out of your video at like 3 minutes, 4 minutes. Yeah, 3:49. It's like, what happened at 3:49? Like, why why did you leave the video? Like, and so that's kind of an interesting thing to try and figure out, but it's just, you're going to drive yourself crazy if you keep on doing that. But after 10 minutes, it depends on the content. Yeah, I mean, it depends on the content as far as how long it is. I think for mine, I try to stay about 10 to 12 minutes is kind of where I average out. So I don't really go other than this. I mean, there's like 53 minutes. So if anybody's been on for a while, thank you for that. But it's also very light, and it's like, either way. So yeah, it depends on the content. But yeah, a lot of times, I mean, everybody has, especially in this environment where there's social media and Twitter and everything else, people have a very short attention span. So you try and hook them a little bit to see what's going on with it. But 3 or 4 minute mark and watch it go around. Yeah, I mean, that's happened, Sam, as far as some of that goes. But that's where it's kind of interesting how that works. It's an analytic. I mean, it's something that is provided to us, and we don't really know what happened with it or why people bounce around. But that's something that is pretty common for that. The average, so yeah, not. I guess the comment for don't bother none. Let's see what the question is there. Average at the most common time. There's a graph, so it kind of shows you where it is. That's the average across the board. So as many views as you had for that video, the average they give you, and then you can kind of see on the graph as far as, okay, this amount of people dropped off at 3 minutes 50 seconds. This amount of people dropped off at 4 minutes. This amount of people dropped off at 8 minutes. This amount of people watched the whole video. So I mean, the graph just drops down, so you can see who actually finished the video and who didn't. But you can't see specifics as far as like, like you can't go like, don't bother me, none, only watch 2 minutes. Like you can't go message you and go like, hey, what happened in 2 minutes, and everything else. So it's kind of the thing they're trying to figure out as far as what it is. So skip measurements. I mean that's going to be something that is not important to a lot of people. Some it is, and some it isn't. But that's where I try and make it a little bit shorter for measurement side, because and that's where I try to flash the information. Because before I did do measurements, I did do like the sharpness test, but then it kind of was like it dragged things down. So that's why I try and just do the flashes of information and kind of talk through it for that. That's just the total minutes of a video they watched. Yep, that's how big red that is. So yeah, the graph kind of goes down. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, let me know as far as any other questions or anything else. I'm still learning too, so I mean, there's something that I might just be saying that might be totally off from that analytic side of things. But there's a lot of numbers out there, and if anybody thinks that there's money that we're doing, like a lot of this is just out of enjoyment. It still is work, but it's still enjoyment. Like there's like negative equity in anything that we're doing as far as like we're not getting paid to do this type of stuff. Like this is like own time type of thing, putting it out there. The pass round is beneficial to both sides, so we're not getting paid for those type of things. It's more of like, well, we want to see the knife. We don't want to pay $200-300 for the knife, but we still want to see it, and we still have people that want to see the knives as well. I would have to take a second mortgage on the house if I wanted to provide my own content in that sense. To be able to go, okay, well, I'm gonna every few days I'm gonna buy a $200 knife, or I'm gonna buy even a $50 knife every 3 days. Like that's not gonna happen. I just can't do it. So that's where it's good with some of the folks that offer loaner knives. Like if they trust the channel enough to send things in, and then we can review those things and then send them back out. So I've seen a lot of those type of things within like even Big Red EDC, and then some other channels as well, as far as having the content be loaned, so we can kind of take a look at it and then send it back out. So it is a little bit more difficult if you have something that's really used, like it's like I use this knife every day for the last 10 years. Like it's not going to be the same as far as like I just picked this knife up, I barely carried it, and then that's something to be able to check out. Yeah, loaners are a lifesaver. I mean, I remember when I first started with things, like it's just trying to provide content on my own. It's like it's not sustainable. It's like how is this going to work? And that's where the pass rounds happen. I was able to get in. I just initially started with some Best Tech. They have a little reviewer request, and then I found that Stasa 23 is affiliated with Best Tech, so I was able to get onto the pass round group. So that's something that I feel is a benefit to the community, and that's where I try to bring in folks and talk to folks that will actually represent the pass round well. Because as much as there is out there, there's good reviews and bad reviews. There's folks that they don't represent very well for some of the things. So we try and bring in folks that will represent the brand well, or represent the group well, be able to do honest reviews of things as well, to do that. Because again, there's no money in it. No, eventually, some of us can get monetized. But even that is, I mean, it's going to be probably, I don't know, like $20 a month or something as far as video. USB microscope. Yeah, so I mean, I might try that with the USB microscope, because right now, what I'm using is very probably not the best way to do it, but it's a Carson pocket microscope. So I put it down on the knife. So I open the blade, put the Carson pocket microscope on it, and then take my camera, and then I try and like get it centered on the shot well enough, and then take a picture. So any of those shots that you see of the microscope shot of the edge is done that way. So I probably need to get the USB one. That'll probably make my life a lot easier instead of the other way that I'm doing it. Ooh, that sounds bad. So seismic is not good. So from Big Red EDC's comment, it seems like you're saying that the seismic is at least from your comment. I don't know if that's true or not. You might just love the thing, but from the comment, I would say that that's probably saying that you don't like it. I think it's just really really big. So it's like a 4-inch blade. So that's not. It's a little bit big for me. Like I don't really carry that. So I like to be about 3.25 is my sweet spot for a blade. This one's a little bit bigger, but it still works. This one's a 3.5, but it doesn't seem as big. Like the actual cutting edge is like 3 inches, but then the whole blade is 3.5. Yeah, the seismic is big. But the thing about the deadbolt lock, the deadbolt is going to be the same as the field strip. So the field strip technology that CRKT has is one that kind of went through different designers. So the same thing with the deadbolt is going to be, it's available to all CRKT designers. So you might see, you definitely will see that on other knives as long as it's popular. So as long as they can sell the deadbolt, then for the seismic, then you'll see it on other blades. You'll see it in other iterations, but it has to sell. So they're a company, they're there to make money as well. So it has to be able to sell. Yeah, yeah. So the idea behind it seems like a pretty interesting design. I was looking for another button lock. So I wanted a button lock. Uh, where's my button lock? Where'd it go? I don't know where my button lock went. But my Tytac 2 is my favorite button lock. So I have a Medford Smooth Criminal, which is also a button lock, but the detent is a little bit too low on that. So I think that needs to be upped a little bit, or a different way to do it, where they can add detent, like just have a detent ball in the closed position, so they can flip better. So you can actually, you would have to use wrist on that most times. It's very smooth for the Smooth Criminal from Medford, but it could be better. So the Tytac 2 is actually on sale. Like if you have a Sportsman's Warehouse near you, I bought another Tytac 2 for $20, and then I bought a M1602S. I think this the classic CRKT. That one was also for $24. So that's interesting about that. My battery died. There we go. Still 2 people on. Awesome. Sorry my battery died. But we're going to end it off pretty quick if there's nothing else. So I do apologize for that. We got some people back on. But my battery died. It was like, they said, you have 15% left on your battery, and then it just turned off. So I do apologize for anybody, and thank you for coming back on. But if there's anything else that you guys have questions on, let me know, comments. But giveaway side, we're going to have, again, we have the Tangram, then we have the Yobo tool for that. But 5 people back on. Questions, type them in if you have anything that you would like to talk about. Thank you, Angie. So see you a lot on Instagram. Tried Tangram Vector. Vector is very great. So Aaron, I don't know if you're still on, but Vector is nice. It needs to be a little bit smoother. It's very slick in hand for that. So that's one thing I don't like about it. So I might try and modify the one that I have. How many people will buy that? Or PM2? Not too sure which one is for the PM2. For Don't Bother Me None, are you still on? But I don't know what the comment is for the PM2 as far as the competition for it. But yeah, so that's about it. 5 people still on. Comments if you have anything to comment about, but I still don't know where my button lock went. But Tangram Vector, so I do have the Tangram Vector. It is very slick in hand, not slick by being good, slick by meaning like it will fall out of your hand. It is very... I think it's telling me to end the live stream because I'm having issues now. But any other questions, let me know. Otherwise, I'm going to be ending. Thanks for being on. Thanks for checking it out. As we do on all these live streams that go fairly long, we will have the word of the day be ragu. So if you like pasta, the word of the day is ragu, because if you made it this far, thank you very much. But check it out. These are the giveaways. Leave your comments. And thank you very much. 3 people on. If you have anything else to say, let me know now. Otherwise, forever hold your peace. We're going to have ending. Thank you for being on. Still 3 people. Going once. Going twice. Going 2.5. And gonna end. Alright, thanks again for your time. Appreciate it. And check out other channels. Check out any of the videos. And thank you very much.